As you may already know, my name's Clare Baker and I'm a former clutterholic and borderline hoarder. I successfully cleared all my clutter over 20 years ago without the need for an expensive home visit. And I've been helping people around the world do exactly the same ever since, so that they too can know what it's like to live a completely clutter-free life forever. I like to share my experiences both before and after I cleared my clutter to help fellow clutterholics and hoarders and their friends and family to understand some of the thoughts, feelings and experiences we have when we struggle with our clutter. What I share is not intended to be a judgment or criticism of anyone I mention, although I fully understand that some people may take it that way. There are at least three perspectives on the same experience: yours, mine, and the facts of the experience that probably lay somewhere in between. I share my perspectives on my experiences, which is a reflection from which I can share my learning with others who may have similar experiences. It's 25 years since I started creating the 7-step journey, 23 years since I became completely clutter-free forever. Although clearing my clutter was all about clearing my physical, visible clutter in my physical environment clutter segment of my wheel of life, not only did it also enable me to find fulfillment in my work segment of my wheel, which in turn improved my physical and mental health segment of my wheel, it also improved my finances segment as I completely stopped my impulse spending. However, it was the significant other segment of my wheel of life where an earthquake of change far beyond what I could have ever imagined took place. As I was nearing the end of my journey, the film Bridget Jones's Diary was released. It's a film about a single woman in her 30s called Bridget, who is trying to improve herself and find love, capturing her daily thoughts by writing them in her diary. In that film, there's a wonderful quote that has been quoted by many, experienced by a few. It's where the lead male character, Mark Darcy, who is Bridget's love interest, tells Bridget, "I don't think you're an idiot at all. I mean, there are elements of the ridiculous about you. Your mother's pretty interesting. But the thing is, what I'm trying to say very inarticulately is that, in fact, perhaps despite appearances, I like you very much, just as you are." It was the stuff of fantasy. Or was it? Like many, I felt like Bridget could have been me. That's probably why the book and the film were so popular. But I never imagined I could or would find my own Mark Darcy. By Millennium Eve, when I resolved to figure out how to clear my clutter forever, I had had only 2 relatively healthy and happy significant other romantic relationships in my life as a frame of reference. I'd kissed a lot of frogs, found a couple of dukes, but not my prince. My first genuine and honest romantic relationship, when I first experienced real love, was with Dave. We went to the same school, and it was after a school trip that our friendship blossomed and turned into a relationship. His birthday was on Valentine's Day, a good omen of things to come. Dave was very shy, but so easy to talk to, genuine and caring. He was in the same science classes as one of my best friends, a tall, blonde, pretty girl, and I naturally assumed that he'd be more interested in asking her out than me. But it turned out he liked me, just as I was. Imagine my surprise when, after prep one evening at the beginning of term, he came over to my study and asked me if I would go out with him. I remember it clearly. He asked me, I said yes. He then got up, punched the air and bent down to kiss me. Perfect. Dave was the kind of genuine, caring, respectful man I wanted to be with. For 3 months, we had an intense relationship. It was my first experience of someone just being happy to spend time with me, interested in my thoughts, feelings, and opinions about things. It was so comfortable and easy to be with him. On my 18th birthday, he bought me a teddy bear, which I kept for years. In fact, I found it when I was clearing my clutter all those years later. I could really see our relationship going somewhere, despite us being so young. Then one day he came to my study and said we were spending too much time together. He needed to study more to get the grades he needed to go to his preferred university. I understood, taking comfort that it wasn't me. It was for the sake of his future, although the thought of only having him in my life as a friend was devastating. Within a month of us splitting up, he was dating my tall, blonde, pretty friend. My trust in men was shattered, not for the first time, and I admit that I went a bit cuckoo for a while. My next experience of a genuine, deep connection and feeling safe and secure in a romantic relationship was with Bob, who I met while I was in South America. Bob was a builder. Yes, my very own Bob the Builder, don't laugh. And 27 years older than me. Although he was only 2 years younger than my parents, just like Dave, he was so easy to get on with, talk to, and he made me feel safe and able to be my true, crazy self around him. Just like Dave, Bob was genuinely interested in me, my thoughts and feelings, and really listened. He made me feel wanted and needed. He would say many times that his feelings didn't make sense, given the age difference. But of course, feelings are feelings, independent of logic and reason. When you get a connection, that's all that matters. For over 2 years, we spoke on the phone for hours every Sunday. I stayed with Bob when I went to South America, and he stayed with me when he came back to the UK on leave. Unlike Dave, this time I ended it when he called to make arrangements for his next leave. He worked abroad, so there was no real future. It was time to end it. I'll never forget what he said on our last call. One day you'll meet someone who deserves you. I just wish that could have been me. That was it. Just 2 healthy, happy and equal romantic relationships on which to build my vision of my significant other in my best life. And neither of them were my first fiancé. He only spent time with me when he wanted prestige or money, or both. It wasn't much to go on. My therapist Meg suggested I compile the learning and feedback from Dave and Bob to help me get clear about the qualities of what I wanted my future significant other to have. I wrote a list of all the qualities that Dave and Bob had that I wanted in my future romantic significant other relationship. They embodied the Mark Darcy qualities from the Bridget Jones Diary film. Likes and accepts me just as I am. Then I wrote a list of all the negative qualities that unsuitable men I had dated had, and used that list to list the positive opposites. It wasn't a quick exercise, and it definitely made me think about what I really wanted and needed. I'm driven by personality, not looks, so it was a challenge to articulate the qualities I wanted. By the end of 2001, just as I was clearing my last area, my garage, my Bridget Jones Mark Darcy list was complete. I knew what I wanted, and I knew how to recognise him. I knew what to avoid and when to say no to another date with a man. I was ready. It would take me 2.5 years to finally meet my Mark Darcy, dating a lot of frogs in the process. I decided to brave the new world of online dating, which was scary and crazy, but also led to a few good dinner party stories. It also led me to eventually meet my Mark Darcy, the man who later became my husband, Keith. Just like my previous experiences of Dave and Bob, I took it slow with Keith, in part because, like Dave, he was very shy. We both came from emotionally dysfunctional families, so we became friends before it turned romantic. Not that he's ever been romantic. Over the last 20 years, we've grown together, learnt how to navigate our emotions and communicate effectively together. We've got through the bad days, tough weeks and tough years by allowing each other the space to be ourselves and be vulnerable, knowing that uncomfortable doesn't mean you have to give up. We've learnt to trust each other. We've supported each other through grief. We've grown in the same direction as we continuously evolved to become the best versions of ourselves, living our best lives in the present. He supports and accepts me unconditionally, and I him. He is the best qualities of Dave and Bob rolled into one and more. When I started clearing my clutter, I thought Mark Darcy was just a writer and filmmaker's creation. However, I now have proof that if you dare to dream, you'll find someone who accepts you just as you are. You can clear your clutter fast, or you can clear your clutter forever, but you can't clear your clutter forever fast. If you're ready to get the help and support you need to succeed and clear your clutter forever, click on the link with this video and find out how I can help you.